Good morning. We're off to an early and quite chilly start this morning. This might be the coldest I've been in at least a month. Pretty nippy. We're at pretty high elevation. We have a full day planned, so we'll be getting out of here in just a second. So for at least the first part of the day today, we're going to be exploring the Valles Caldera National Preserve. Our first hike for the day is just a couple of miles down the road here. It's actually called the Hidden Valley hike. I think this here is the Valle Grande. There are a bunch of vast meadows and valleys all throughout this area. I know there have been a couple of forest fires in this area, the Jemez Mountains. You can see the burn scar across the street here, and I noticed a couple of them driving down here. The first site on this Hidden Valley Trail is this old cabin here, sitting right in the middle of the valley. So I'm not quite alone out here this morning. Got a couple of groups in front of me. One guy looked like he was going to do some fishing. This trail ends at the East Fork Jemez River, which we were exploring in last week's video. So we'll get to see that one more time. This trail starts out by going through this beautiful meadow. I think it's about 3.5 miles out and back, so not a super long trail. It's definitely shared by elk, I'm realizing, because I've been stepping over a bunch of fresh elk droppings. I don't know if we'll see any or not today. Big reason why I wanted to do this trail today is that it's a wildflower season right now. Late summer is typically the time when they come out, and I've already seen quite a few in the meadow. So it looks like there's also this creek that runs all the way through a good portion of the valley. That guy who was out here to fly fish didn't have to go as far as I thought. Still can't get over how incredible this part of the state is. It's like, where am I right now? From what I can gather through some short research, a caldera is essentially like a gigantic sinkhole. It's not to be confused with a crater though, because a crater forms when there is an impact from above. A caldera actually forms when the magma underneath the surface, underneath the crust, boils up and then erupts, coming out, which actually causes the volcano to collapse in on itself. So a supervolcano essentially collapsed in on itself and formed this entire area of the Jemez Mountains. There are a couple of pretty tall peaks out here in terms of the Jemez Mountains. I haven't really talked about that in these past couple of videos. A few are over 11,000 feet, so certainly not the tallest in the state of New Mexico, but pretty big, no less. This area is basically formed through volcanic activity. It is dormant now. I don't think anything has erupted in like the last 60 or 70,000 years, which isn't very long in geologic terms, but for us It's a pretty long time. I do gotta say, this hike is incredible. It helps that it's a nice temperature. We're up close to 9,000 feet now. It is so beautiful out here. Wow. The name of this trail is very fitting. It is essentially just a hidden valley. And that couple that was out ahead of me already looped back. So now I have the whole place to myself. This has been an awesome way to start the day. When I was looking up this little cabin here, I don't really know much about it, but there is cell coverage out here, so I was looking it up on my way out. I stumbled upon another stop that I really want to make out here, something that I really want to see. So we're going to make a little bit of an extra pit stop, go a little bit out of the way, and then we'll get back on the road and head to our next destination for the day. I'm pretty excited to see this spot. It is only about 10 a.m. though, so we got plenty of daylight left. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's all these prairie dogs just hanging out in the road. There's tons of them. So this is the quick pit stop that I wanted to make. It took a little bit of extra time. You have to get a pass to come to this area at the visitor center. So I got a vehicle pass, came back here, parked. There is a little cabin district out here with a bunch of old cabins. And there's one cabin in particular that I want to see. Shannon and I are big fans of the TV show Longmire. And this here is the main character, Walt Longmire's cabin. Contrary to popular belief, it is not located in Absaroka County, Wyoming. It is in fact here in New Mexico. Apparently a lot of TV shows and movies have been filmed in the Valles Caldera. Enjoying one last view of the Valle Grande while I'm eating lunch here. This illustration does a pretty good job showing what I was trying to explain earlier. This valley was formed when the magma underneath the Earth's crust erupted from all different areas, causing a massive supervolcano to collapse in on itself. And then you have a couple of different peaks all throughout the area that were formed by resurgent lava and magma that came to the surface and created everything that we see today. This was all formed by the volcanic activity, including a huge eruption over 1 million years ago, and then 13 million years of volcanic activity before that. The eruption that occurred over 1 million years ago was about 500 times the size of the Mount St. Helens eruption from May of 1980. So our next stop is a little bit of a drive to get there. Going to take us a little while. It's going to be a very scenic drive though as we descend from the Jemez Mountains and head back towards civilization, I guess you could say. I'm excited about this hike. It looks like something that is pretty special and I had no idea that anything like this even existed around here. So I'm now in Los Alamos, New Mexico. I actually drove to the Trailhead for the hike that I've been really wanting to do here. It's kind of just like out of like a suburban neighborhood, like a residential neighborhood. You just kind of park and you start hiking. I got there, packed up, got ready to go, and then I started hearing this crazy thunder. And sure enough, we ended up getting this huge thunderstorm. So I came back to Starbucks and just sat in there and worked on a computer, just tried to stay out of the rain for a little bit. It seems to have mostly passed, although it still looks pretty sketchy out there. I'm going to head back to the trailhead though and give this one more shot. This is technically my last day for this trip around northeast New Mexico. I don't really have anything else planned. I'm sure I'll be back up here again soon, but I didn't really want the whole trip to end with me sitting in a Starbucks parking lot getting rained on in the middle of a thunderstorm. So this will hopefully be better. I think we'll be able to get this quick little hike in. It's not terribly long. It's just under 2 miles. It is pretty uphill. There's like over 500 feet of elevation gain, so I'm going to be out of breath on my way up here. Apparently it gets kind of challenging too. I'm hiking to a natural arch that's out here. I do love a good hike when you have to use your hands a little bit and actually do some climbing. That was fun. I'm not quite there yet, but I am out of breath. I gotta take a quick break. There it is. Whew. It is hot. I am like dripping in sweat right now. This hike was strenuous. Getting up that second half there, just climbing up the rocks, it was pretty challenging. Probably the most challenging hike that I've done so far on this trip, even though it's really not the longest one. Worth it though. At least this arch is providing some shade. I'm gonna sit here for as long as I need to cool off, and then I'll try to make my way back down. This whole thing is just hiding in plain sight. It's literally just a residential neighborhood that you hike out of. Super easy to get to. I don't really think there are that many arches like this across the northeast part of New Mexico, at least not that I know of. It's kind of rare around here. Definitely is a little bit of a hidden gem. Just me and the ravens up here. I'm definitely going to be putting the camera away for the trek back down. It was hard enough getting up here with just one hand. I'd like to have them both free so that I can kind of safely slide my way out of here. This does kind of mark the end of this trip for me. I'm going to be heading back this evening. It's going to take me a couple of hours to get back. Shannon and I have plans to continue working on the shed. Tomorrow it's going to involve pouring some more concrete and hopefully making some progress with that. So I want to get back to help her with that. This was a pretty awesome trip. Found some really cool spots. I really didn't have to go too far. I was basically in the Jemez Mountains the whole time, and that's really it. So I got a lot more to see, a lot more things that I want to explore, and that'll be part of a future adventure. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you all in the next one. Be sure to check out the new Element Life membership site linked below. Becoming a member grants you access to many benefits, including an interactive map of my favorite free camping and stealth camping spots from across the country, a growing recipe archive for quick, delicious, and easy meals, bonus videos each month, special discounts, and much more. Thanks again for watching.